Well, good evening, and I've pressed Shift M. Whoops. Why is the music playing? Stop the music. Good evening. Hello everybody. We have Majenko and Chloe going at it over spelling in the chat. We have Cobb. Who else do we have? Anybody else lurking? Not that I can see in this light. Now we have a swarm of dead insects. Hello. How are you all doing? As you can tell from the stream title, the transistors I was waiting for yesterday have arrived. So we are set to have a go at repairing the red channel on the DEC Rainbow. Full of kebab. That sounds excellent, Majenko. I am not, but I shall be full of burger later, I think. So, last time we looked at the rainbow was a week on last Tuesday. And we traced the red signal back that was not making it out to the monitor. We traced it back to the expansion port on the board, which is over here somewhere. And it just goes directly to an output transistor on the graphics expansion. And there was signal going into that, and there was no signal coming out of it. Right, okay, excellent. So we have chat trying to make me hungry now. That's exactly what I wanted at nearly dinner time. Thank you all. So yeah, we found, according to some hand-drawn third-party schematics, a 2N2095 output transistor. It appeared to not be passing any signal. So we have ordered replacements, and we shall swap it out and see what happens. Let me just bring up the schematic so I can... whoops, I have not set this up properly. New window. Bit savers. It was dual schematics. Graphics, there we go. And I shall just shrink this so it fits on the screen. And we want, I think, this one. Okay, show, there we go. So in the few seconds before the ad break, we are looking at this bottom transistor here, 2N2905, not 2095. I do hope I've ordered the right parts. We shall find out in a moment. So we found signal at the input here, where the some of the DAX comes through this biasing resistor. V bias looked okay. There was just nothing on RVID here. So I shall just open these. I shall switch views. There we go. And we shall get the board out first. That would seem sensible, wouldn't it? I've already taken the system module, as DEC call it, out of the Rainbow chassis for expediency, and it should just lift out with a bit of gentle persuasion. So let's have a look. I love the accuracy of Twitch's ad prediction. Where is the knife? Knife. There's the knife. So let's see what we ordered and hope it's the right thing. Where's the tape holding this shut? Indeed, so you're all in ads, so that's excellent. We shall... Good, 2905. So while everybody else is in ads, bonus content for the subscribers. Is there a date code on this? I don't see one. It says coil. Is that Coilcraft? They don't make transistors, surely. Anyway, little tin can transistor, old school. So it should just be a quick swap it out job if we can find the thing we're supposed to swap out. Excuse me a second. God. Sorry, I need to have a a button I can slam for mute. Yeah, a handy mute button would be ideal, and a few other bits and pieces. But thank you, Cop. Yes. Oh, right, a bit dusty in here after all the decorating. A bit too much work on the plaster. A handy fart button also, says Cobb. No, I can usually manage those without a button. But yeah, we shall see. I have some thoughts on the matter, and I need to dig out the leftover bits from one of the previous keyboard designs, not keyboard designs, previous keyboard prototypes, and see if I can build something around that. But that's for the future. So it's one of these three that we need to replace, and I'm pretty sure it was this one out on the end here. How can we prove that? We can prove that with a multimeter. And that was the red. That was the input to the transistor we need to replace, and it was connected to the south leg of that resistor. So yeah, it must be that one. So south leg there runs so it's that triangle there, is it? There. That's not. It is hard to tell what the orientation of these pins is. Yeah, it must be these three here, which of course you can't really see at that distance with the camera. I must get around to figuring out a better close-up, but we'll fire up the older desoldering station. And while we wait for that, we'll apply some fresh solder on the top. Hopefully no breaking indeed. Hello Spies, how are you doing? Yes, we have yet to actually touch anything, but it will hopefully not break. This one. So some fresh solder on, we reckon, that leg. Tip is absolutely filthy. That'll have to be that one, won't it? Or will it? Indeed, Cobb, yes. The battery eliminator would be useful for the probably the EOSM, we'll see. The 60 is also a there we go. You have. Excuse me a minute. Sorry about that. Yes, as you see, I have finally got around to setting up the older text-to-speech. And good evening, Tokens Candy. How are you doing? Good to see you. I also had a look at the little double escape or double HTML encoding bug you noticed the other week. I sort of had a fix, but it's a really nasty fix, and it fixes too much. But it might also break emotes, so I've disabled it for the time being. TTS is a little low, is it? Oh yes, I've probably knocked it down a bit because it's in the alert sounds, which were too loud last time, so I'll crank the volume on that next time in the settings. So let's see how we're getting on. And we'll pull this one first. That was apparently not a transistor leg. I do not like the ominous cracking sounds coming from the board. Let me get some light on the subject. As you might be able to tell, I'm still not entirely clear on which legs I'm supposed to be attacking here. More flux, that'll help. That's solder paste, that won't help. They did indeed, RHK77, and hello, and thank you for kicking off. I think that's our inaugural hype train, so we'll see how badly this goes. One moment. Is it? Thank you for the 100 bits there, Cobb. Oh, and RHK as well. I hope that move was worth spending your money on, Cobb. Anyway, let's see if we can make some progress here before I get too distracted. Chloe, thank you for the sub there. Much appreciated.
RHK 77 cheers with 100 bits, pushing the one shot out too.
Pushing me, pushing the what? I see, right. That sounded completely different in my ear, and yes, I see when you have the TTS being a bit low. But thank you for an additional 100 bits there, RHK. This is going poorly. There's those 3 pins there, it's got to be. If it's there and there, why is there no pin in the third hole? This is ridiculous. So it's straight down from the connector here. Well, I mean, if the transistor's missing a leg, that might explain why we weren't getting any output, but, I mean, it seems an unlikely sort of fault. Aha. We have located it, at least. It's just a question of getting all the solder out of the hole, which is proving a little tricky. I think the case of the transistor might actually be acting as a honking great heatsink, which would be fun and useful. As regular viewers will be aware, I am being perhaps a little overcautious with this board because the construction, certainly in the VT240, which is of the same era, proved to be remarkably easy to cause significant damage to the track work. Which would not improve matters. think I'm going to have to try and bend that leg back up. It's definitely giving way slowly. So where's the third pin going to be? That one there. Right. Been attacking it from the wrong end, which doesn't help. So, one more of these. Really is not happy. President Hammergang, yes, it is indeed a Rainbow 100. Model B, I believe. This is the colour graphics expansion board from it, and it has a dead output transistor on, we think, on the red output. So we are trying to get it out and replace it, and it is putting up a fight, which is very rude of it. But oh god, making a right mess of this. And I think we might have to bring out the hot air and try doing it the stupid way. Oh, hang on. At least one pin is free, that's good. 2 pins are free. There we go. Finally. We have Motorola one out, and I don't know who made that one. It says Coil on it, so maybe it's Coilcraft, but that seems a very strange company to be making 2N2905s. Okay, so I just want to clean up those pads that I've made a bit of a mess of before I go any further. Let's see about that. And turn that off. There we go, blessed quiet. He says as the Extron whirs away under the table. So tidying up a bit. What's that for? Is that just a... I've got pins there that I could do with filling again. And that one I think is just a veer. Yeah, that's fine, okay. Right, so that's all the mistakes reinstated. Let's get the new transistor in. So there's a plastic washer underneath this, which I think we'd probably better retain. It's presumably there to stop the transistor body from shorting any of the nearby track work, but or traces on the top. So if we pop that in, that looks okay. We are arguing the finer points of vulgarity now, are we, in chat? And that's what I like to see. It's very dark in here for some reason. Okay. The pads on the bottom here were absolutely tiny to start with, and I don't think I've made them any better. More like just annular rings, I think. So we're going to have a there's going to be a reasonable chance here that I have just completely nudged it. Let's see, where did that was presumably the actual output pin. Let's see if we can verify that. By comparing it to one of its siblings over here. No, okay. Is it the VREF pin? I'm just trying to work out where that pin I'm suspicious about was supposed to go. That one to there, that's fine. So this should go to one of them. Oh, good. That was the input rather than the output, so it's connected fine. So we'll detach the... No, we'll leave that there in case we need it later, and find the wire clippers. Okay, I think there's a reasonable chance that I've done that without any significant damage. Fallback ideas if the transistor wasn't the fault. Well, we can probe deeper and find the bits coming out of the DAC. Sorry, the bits going into the DAC, which we've located on the schematic. But we saw the correct, or we saw what looked reasonable going into the amplifier. So it's, yeah, if it's not that, I don't know what it could be. If it's not that, what I could do is tap off just the digital inputs to the DAC and run those to there are newer RGB to HDMIs than I've got, which should be able to handle the full 12-bit input. So yes, President Hammergill, the dual processor machines, yeah, things like the Z80 and the Apple II, that was always fun. Shelby, of course, has a long-term project. I presume most people here have come via Shelby stroke Majenko. Has a long-term project to fit as many, so the Z80, the 6502, and as many other things as he can inside an IBM 5150, which would be fun. But yeah, of course, the BBC had the whole pod tube thing for all sorts of exotic second processors, including the ARM prototypes. Right, so let me just have a sip of coffee because I'm gasping. And then we'll try putting this back in the machine and see what happens. Sneeze alert. And under absolutely no circumstances should anybody stroke Majenko. Just thought I'll be clear on that. Right, so one moment while I dig up the rainbow. I bloody hope not, Majenko. Yours is a nightmare. I presume it is still ongoing. Right, so system module first. Insert board. And tape that to the back again so we can find it. And whoops, wipe the camera tripod, always a good idea. drive cables. You've got to put the Winchester in first, haven't you? Don't know why I'm bothering to. Well, actually, I do know why I'm bothering to reattach that. It's because it gets a bit in the way otherwise. Floppy drive, kind of important. And power. Obviously primarily optional. This is a really nice case design. It's just somewhat fiddly to actually get to the connectors you're supposed to get to, which is I see why. It's not Winchester first, it's power first, then Winchester over the top of it. I think. There we go. So power. Yes, right. Then Winchester and then power to power supply. There we go. Of course, you can see any of that, so we'll turn this round so that I can get to the floppy drives. What do we want to do? We want to give it power first. Sorry for the whacking of the mic there, folks. And we'll give it an oscilloscope as well, so that I can see what's... Just in case we need to do further diagnostics, it'll make life easier if I have it hooked up already. And where's the RGB to HDMI? Over here. So we have, there's red, which we want. That's ground, I think. Red, blue, where's green, which is sync? Okay, well, we'll forget about the oscilloscope for the time being, and we'll just see what happens when we fire it up. And if we need to dig further, we need to dig further. Keyboard would help. Let's get the RGB to HDMI turned on. And let's cross our fingers, folks. Sorry, let me just catch up with chat a second. Right, okay, we're still on Cobb's emissions, are we? Okay, so did I have past experiences with the rainbow before it was new? No, I didn't. I'm a bit young for that, unfortunately. I learned about it in the mid-90s, I think, when I was getting involved with CPM and other digital research stuff in the wake of Caldera open sourcing DRDOS and Gem. Well, Gem was actually GPL, that was fine. And they released CPM at the same time for historical interest. And I thought the rainbow sounded fascinating. A colleague of mine who I started working with in the early 2000s used to work at DEC and said he had one in the 80s, and I was very envious of this machine. And so when he was tidying out his old office building last year, before doing some building work, I went to collect some machines from him and said, if you ever want to get rid of your rainbow, let me know. And he said, oh, well, we'll go and grab it from the attic now, shall we? So it came home with me, so that was good fun. So yeah, no real experience with it. I've only fired it up for a few hours in total. So let's see what else is going on in chat. Majenko's MFM emulator, yes, that would be very good. So we've got this far. Let's see, which drive did I have the boot disk in? Drive A, genius. I hadn't realised Usagi had done a series on the rainbow until I got this machine home and went looking to find out bits and pieces about it, such as whether anybody had already made cabling for it. And then I found Usagi's videos because I had been aware of his stuff. I'd started watching the Centurion stuff when he was first doing it, and then there was a period where he wasn't really making any progress on it, so he stopped doing videos about that. And I think at that point I drifted away from the channel, so I hadn't seen a lot of the last sort of 2 years of his stuff, including the rainbow. So yeah, that was a pleasant surprise to get reacquainted with Usagi after I picked this up and went looking for bits and pieces about it. So we were using the drawing program last time as a test for colour stuff. Now, you folks are going to know whether this works before I do, because it's going to draw the cursor in white, and as we saw last time, without the red channel it shows up in cyan. You could all tell me it was cyan and I couldn't, because I can't see red. So you'll know whether this works before I do. System is a Model B, good start. And it was that key, I think. Well, that's doing something. Oh, that's the green channel, so red. Well, I don't know about you, but that looks like it's probably red. And we've got some magenta, and we've got some yellow in theory. Oh, right, it'll be on the mono gun, won't it? Yes, there we go.
A swarm of dead insects cheered with 100 bits. We have liftoff.
Oh, thank you for the 100 bits, a swarm of dead insects. Red, excellent. So, let us press some buttons and get out of this. I still don't know how to actually use this program. Let's find out. Standard arrow keys and the numeric keypad keys. Pressing shift moves at 10 pixels. Drawing mode. PF1, 2 and 3. Okay, so PF1. Wow, this is a brilliant drawing program, obviously. So if I press that, Oh. Well, that's done a thing. Primary colour. Now we have a slight problem, which is that the RGB to HDMI I'm using to there you go, to capture the video. Only this one supports 4 levels for the analog RGB input, and the Rainbow supports 16. So we're only getting some of the. So there's full brightness, mid, low, and off are the 4 levels that the RGB to HDMI can capture. Oh, it's very bright, was it? Sorry. Let's make it sort of darker DEC red then, and yeah. But that appears to be working. Yes, Pi Zero based thing. So I built it on stream a few months ago in order to. There must be an exit command here somewhere. Oh, we've got some nasty noise there in the background. I wonder why. Help. This is getting worse, isn't it? Why has... Oh, I know why. I pressed F3, which is the setup screen. No. Hang on. That's me being an idiot. It's either F2 or F3. I can never remember. I know muscle memory. It says F3, but I'm probably wrong. Gets you into the setup screen on DEC's VT terminals and the Rainbow. No, it's not the nice long wire, but thank you for the reminder, Matt. I shall disconnect that now while I've got the machine turned off. Actually, I might do it afterwards. So yeah, that gets you into the setup screen, and I can demonstrate that if I power the machine back up again. Why is... but of course remember that, so we'll get this, we'll get to the, there, go into terminal mode, and if we press F3 we get this setup screen, et up. Why is it et up? Setup, there we go. So that's on F3, and you can go back and forth between the text screen and the setup screen. But that's happening at a very low level in the system. If it's displaying graphics and you press that, then it switches the text mode back on top of the graphics. So it's trying to display this and the graphics at the same time, but because they're independent, the graphics card and the text mode are independent timing generators, they're not in sync, so you get that noise in the background. And then control setup to reboot. Oh, sorry, GPIN, that's not good, is it? Sorry about that. But to catch you up, we've replaced the red output transistor on the Rainbow graphics board, and that has brought the red channel back to life, which is excellent news. So yeah, that noise was basically because it was trying to overlay the text on top of the graphics, and it was going horribly wrong. So yeah, DEC had some interesting choices in this machine. So let's try that again. by saying primary colour. Let's draw in yellow, bright yellow. Actually, I'll make it a sort of lemony yellow like that, and select, and then background colour, dark red. So yeah, that's what we wanted, and then we can draw. We can draw nonsense. Well, okay, it was a thing. So there should be a button I can press to, is it do? Yes. Drawing options, I wonder what's in there. Ooh! That might give us now that's interesting. That would appear to be intended to be as a grey scale up the top. So what this means is the let's reason about this. So the green channel looks like it's probably a little hot. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Thanks, folks. So if I fiddle with the RGB to HDMI sensitivity slightly, I should be able to dial that out. So let's have a go at that. How do we get into that? We go here, sampling, and I hate these button arrangements. So we need that to kick in a bit higher, do we? Like that, maybe. Okay, and then come on down here to G mid. Gone the wrong way, return, return. So that might be, whoops. No, it doesn't like that, does it? So that'll be the mid. There we go. Now mid has gone a little red. Oh, right, okay, thanks folks. Sampling menu. So if that's a little red, let's put it there to be safe. How's that looking? So what do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 black, 4 dark grey, and 6 mid grey. So we want to try and bring that down a bit, I suppose, so we get a more even spread. So to do that we want to duck that to about there, and similarly how's that? So we've got those should be the same. They mostly are, but it gets a bit wobbly there, which makes sense. Hang on. 12 is red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That one is a bit red, is it? Only a little bit. Okie doke. Sampling menu. How's that? Is that is that any better, or have I made it worse? I can see there's a difference, actually. There's a very slight luma difference. Right, so how are we looking now? So it does that look decent across the board now? If it does, I shall hit the save button. Slight redness to the left edge of number 13. 1540. Hang on. That one. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, there is, isn't there? Is that gone now? And okay, I see there's an edge there, isn't there? It's likely from the RGB to HDMI documentation that you can't really do too much about all of these issues, so that needs to go. Let's try that. Well, that's definitely wrong. That's the best it's going to get, I think. So yeah, there will always be on these edge cases, because it's trying to sample using a chip that's really not quite designed for it. Bluish edge to that one. So yeah, but because basically we're trying to digitize a 4-bit spectrum with 2 bits. Left 4 there. Yeah, that one's going to be problematic, I think. Okay, 8. 4 good black, 4 good dark, blue line 3 good, red line 3 good. So there's a bit of blue on this one, is there? Oh, flaming heck. So it'll be that one if we tweak it. No, that's definitely gone wrong. And it was a bit blue, so if we try there. Is that any better? Yeah, exactly. If you're right on the sampling threshold, then you're going to get some noise. Now it's green. Right, okay. Green light. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, let's try. Boink. This is not going to work hugely well because of the flashing cursor. But this just synchronises the colour, or tries to get the clocks as good as it can get them. Okay, I can definitely see a line there now. Sampling menu, green, mid, up a bit. Did that make things better or worse? Well, that's completely, obviously worse, so some noise there. No, now there's horrible noise on the one below it. Right, so let's put that back where it was. I think that's probably about as good as we're going to get it. And then that one has a slight edge to it as well, does it? Well, let's not worry about it for the time being. Let's call it as good as it's going to get, and save configuration decrainbow.txt. Right. So what we want to do is select it out of that and then do. Let's have a look at some of the other features in this thing. Fill area. Dither screen. Okay, I have no idea what that's doing, but it's doing it very slowly. I have regrets. It should be able to do quicker than this because it can offload to the graphics processor chip. So why on earth it's being this poor? Is there a button I can press to cancel this? Do. Help. No. So we're just going to sit and wait for this to get all the way to the bottom. Yeah, indeed. I'll have to go back to the technical reference and see if I'm right, but I'm pretty sure you can tell it to just draw a rectangle using a dither pattern if you want it to. So that did absolutely nothing of any use. Oh, now there's noise there. What on earth? Well, okay, let's pick a... change that colour palette and then set this one to that, and we'll try that again and see what happens. Drawing functions, select, clear screen, select. Well, it can clear the screen in a flash, which is annoying. Who knows what this is doing? Select. nothing of any use, so do. No, that doesn't do anything of any obvious yeah, that hasn't helped either, so we'll do Control F3 twice to Whoa! Okay. It might have done with Genko. I was hoping it would use the current drawing colour and the background colour, but that didn't appear to work. And then I wasn't going to sit there and wait for the entire thing to do it all over again. So what we'll do quickly is... oh, Majenko wants to stream this evening, does he? Okay. What I'll do, I'll just go and grab the Lotus 123 disc, and we'll see if it's fixed for that, which it should be, but give me one moment. Okay, I return with a box of discs. We shall pop that Rainbow Games disc out and try... Oh, we have one labelled Hack, which is presumably the predecessor to NetHack, or the successor to Rogue, whichever way you want to look at it. So let's have a look at that disc and see what's on it. And we'll see what happens. I don't know whether it's going to be graphical or text mode, but oh, that apparently wants to run from the Winchester, which is not working. Well, that's a shame. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry. Yeah, so that's looking for files on the hard drive by the looks of it, which is a shame. But we can try instead this disc. Which is the Lotus 123 tutorial. We shall see how this works. Yeah, so the Micro P7220 graphic controller should have been able to deal with that sort of fill a lot quicker than it was. But anyway, it wasn't. So it's probably just that software doesn't know how to drive it. And let's try graphs, because graphs are pretty. As for Shelby, very gratifying to hear, Cobb, but you might be interested to know that Shelby is wrapping up his Data General stuff shortly. He finished the script for that is really wobbly, finished the script for the last video in the series this week, apparently. But we'll see what happens after that. I'm just going to see if we can get a steadier picture of that without so many wibbly bits. That's better. So, page ahead is next SCA, which is a key on the keyboard. So I'm just going to blast through this because we want to get over to Majenko and see his MFM designs, I suppose, but we also want to see some pretty graphs. But 123's tutorial was always good fun to work through, if you're of a certain bent, I suppose. Once again, it's ready to view the graphs. If we press next, you can press. I'm trying to remember which key. Okay, okay. It's drawn a graph. It turns out just slamming the next key is a lot quicker than actually following the instructions. So it appears to be using the medium resolution screen for some reason. I think. We'll find out shortly. Yeah, that does look like the medium res one. And then eventually it'll switch over to colour. There we go. Hooray! Here we go. We have red bars. That was how I realised there was a problem in the first place. When I ran this tutorial and those bars were missing, and I thought, now that's not right. So yes, that's not bad. Oh, hi Limited. How are you doing? Yes, it was indeed graphical. So the other thing we want to look at quickly, do I have the disc in this box or is it in one of the other ones, is the graphics demo. CPM working copy. It's in the other room. Back in a second. Well, this is embarrassing. I appear to have lost the CPM graphics demo disc. 1 second. Fprint. Look, CPM. Oh, no, it's not in that one. Is it in this one? This one is mostly backups, I think. Yeah, that's all backup discs, so multi-plan. Edit. Oh. Where on earth have I put those? Well, let's switch back to 123 for a second anyway. Is it down here? Not obviously. No. Well. I shall have to find those and revisit this on another occasion once we can actually run the proper graphics demo. I'll tell you what. Majenko, do you want to fire your stream up if you're free at the moment? and let me just catch up with the chat. Yeah, so Chloe, yes, I can understand that. Obviously, PCW being a very nice monochrome monitor. Yeah, it did ship with GSX and Digital Research logo, so you could draw graphics on the PCW out of the box, just you didn't get any colour. The CPC, they did colour drivers for the CPC. And of course, GSX is what the graphics demos for the Rainbow use when it's running in CPM on this. So, let me switch back here. What we shall do is I shall find the disc I was looking for which has the actual graphics demos on, because that might be more impressive than 1, 2, 3 bar charts, possibly. And I have the actual colour monitor that went with this in the garage. It just needs a thorough cleaning. So we shall perhaps look at that at some point in the future. No need to do it right away. Plans for the next few weeks, obviously the RC 2014 build continuing on Tuesdays. Tuesday evenings from about 9-ish, 9:30ish. And this time next week we shall take another look at System 1. Now that it is working again, we shall fire up the 4th and demonstrate that the 4th works. And we shall look at... oh no, not the bot. We shall look at building an adapter so that I can plug the keyboard into it and we can write a keyboard driver for it. So that's probably next week. That's what I'm aiming to do next week anyway. So thank you everybody for joining me. I hope this has been... well, it's been successful at least. I hope it wasn't too dull in its success. And we shall all hop on over and raid Majenko and get on with some MFM emulator design. And then some of us presumably might watch Shelby later, and some won't. But yeah, thanks for joining me, everyone. That was more successful than I'd hoped, or more successful than I'd expected anyway. So yeah, I shall catch you next time.